Hello guys, welcome to another Christian book review. So this one is, I would have to say, if I were on an island or in prison, I would have two books. The Bible and this one. Foxe's Book of Martyrs. Let's see. Next to the Bible, this is my second favorite book. And this book it's unrated. Like it's just so gruesome. There is a lot of torture, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of very descriptive torture in this book, because these Christians went through so much. They went through a massive amount of pain, and their stories are recorded here. Okay, so I'm going to read you a little snippet, and yeah guys, thanks for hanging in there with me. Okay. This book is painful to read. It's a beautiful read though. What it does is that it breaks you down, it squishes you, it breaks you down to build you up in faith. Like, it builds up a different part of you. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it builds up your faith in a way that no movie can, in a way that, I don't know, the Holy Spirit uses these testimonies to build you up in a different way, like to change your mindset and shift it in a way that a lot of people are not saying in the church. But I would highly recommend every Christian to read this. It's really not for children, but if you're able to read some of the less gruesome stories to your children, so that they are raised up with this mindset of knowing that Jesus truly is the treasure above all treasures, and nothing on this earth is worth more. I'm going to read one quote from it, but I've just read it through and I've like underlined it, all these things. I've read it through over and over again. I've underlined it, circled it, every single detail. Because it does say in the Bible, we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, and that those who endure to the end will be saved. The part about endurance, it's a real thing, real endurance. And every single story in this book, they go through such a massive amount of endurance. Some of them were tortured in jail for 3 years, and yet they never gave up, you know? Listen to this, okay? A citizen of Venus, Anthony Rossetti, being apprehended as a Protestant, was sentenced to be drowned in the manner we have already described. A few days previous to the time appointed for execution, his son went to see him and begged him to recant, that his life might be saved and himself not left fatherless. To which the father replied, listen to this, guys, a good Christian is bound to relinquish not only goods and children, but life itself for the glory of his Redeemer. Therefore, I am resolved to sacrifice everything in this transitory world for the sake of salvation in a world that will last to eternity. Do you guys hear that? These martyrs were willing to give up everything. And there are many martyrs out there right now, around the world. We are so blessed to live in America, but then you start wondering what blessed really means. Because these martyrs, they may be poor in material things, but they are so rich in faith. There once was this girl in North Korea, she says she wakes up in the morning without even doing anything. She wakes up in the morning, she feels God's presence right there with her. She didn't even start praying. She didn't even start worshiping. She wakes up in the morning, God's presence is right there. Truly, she could say what David said, when I awake, I am still with you. And here in America, it's really hard. Believe me, I try every morning, but it takes this certain amount of suffering, this certain amount of humbleness, humility, this certain amount of need, because come to the Lord in your time of need, right? And here in America, we are not as needy as we should be. But in other countries where they're being persecuted day and night, where their lives are at stake 24/7, they are always in the throne room. They are praying ceaselessly. And yet they have this joy that is supernaturally given, a supernatural joy, because truly they didn't get that joy from their surroundings. A lot of them don't even have a church or a Bible study or a pastor to cling to. All they have is God. And some of them, if they're fortunate, they would have a Bible, and they've really realized that all they need is God in that moment. And they don't even have food sometimes, but yet they rejoice. They find ways to rejoice. And so I'm going to read it to you guys again. Throughout this whole book is stories that would totally quicken your heart, strengthen your faith, and make you see Jesus in like his multifaceted gemstone beauty. You'll see him in another light. You'll see him in the light of people who are willing to die for the faith. Like, that is how beautiful this book is. And I would think, like, after reading this whole book, I'd get a lot of nightmares, but I didn't. I went to bed praising God for the strength of the martyrs, because their strength strengthened me. Just reading about them. I'm going to read again. To which the father replied, a good Christian is bound to relinquish not only goods and children, but life itself, for the glory of his Redeemer. Therefore, I am resolved to sacrifice everything in this transitory world for the sake of salvation in a world that will last to eternity. Here's another beautiful quote. These martyrs, they seemed all resignation and piety, fervently praying to God, and cheerfully encountering their fate. None of these martyrs died in a happy way. None. And it goes into real grotesque detail about what those demons inside their persecutors, like, you would read these about what the monstrous persecutors did, and you could tell that it was just not human. It was purely demonic. They were literally possessed by demonic activity, these persecutors, because to think that a human would do this to another human, especially another human who wasn't even fighting back. These martyrs, they did not fight back. It's just a really beautiful read, guys. I'd highly recommend it. You could find this on Amazon. I'd recommend getting this one specifically. There's a lot of, like, Foxe's Book of Martyrs out there on Amazon, where some people take pictures and post it on pages. Really hard to read. Some pages are missing, some pages are blurry, but this one is really nice. You gotta find the one with the black cover, and this one. Doesn't even tell me the one who made it. But what is nice about it is that it's very clear to read. It's not a screenshot, of I think someone literally took the time to retype the text. The margins are really nice. It leaves some room for notes. There is space between the text. The font is about size 10, 11. It's not too tiny. So, and the best part, it also has chapters, kinda. It has chapters to help separate the big block of text. So it's pretty easier on the eyes. So I'd recommend getting this specific one. I'll put the link in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys could write to me if any of you have read this book. Write down in the comments how it helped your faith. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.